Hi, we would be dealing with Class 12, Chapter 2, Self and Personality, Part 1 in this video. The contents are as followed: Introduction, Self and Personality, Concept of Self, Cognitive and Behavioral Aspect of Self, Culture and Self, Concept and Personality. Introduction. Self and personality refers to the way in which we define ourselves. Different people have different perspectives on themselves. Personality refers to the stable pattern of behavior. Personalities reflect in diverse behavior of persons, resulting in unique and different personalities. Concept of self. Self is totality of an individual's conscious experience, ideas, thoughts and feelings with regard to the person. Parents, friends, teachers, and others who are a part of our day-to-day life or activity play a significant role and vital role in shaping idea about self. Self is modifiable in reaction to our experience and experience we have with others. So we can change ourselves with the experiences we feel with our day-to-day life or with the experiences which we have in life. We identify people with a term called identity. It's just like the way we use the identity card, which denotes you as a person, which details what's about you in it. So, first one is personal and social. When you talk about personal self, it is referring to the attributes that make him or her which is different from other, which describes a person himself or herself. For example, I am honest. I am honest. When you're comparing the term I am honest, so you're describing about yourself as a person which is making you different from the others. Maybe the other person is a liar, or maybe, yeah. So I am honest, I am brave. Maybe the other person is very fearful and he can't face a situation in the proper way or something. Social identity is the second type of identity, which refers to those attributes of a person that link him or her to a social cultural group and which is derived from it, which describes a person socially and culturally. For example, I say I'm a North Indian, I'm a South Indian, I'm an Adivasi, I'm a Brahmin, I'm a Hindu, I'm a Muslim. So when you're comparing yourself with the others, that yeah, I am a Hindu, you're a Muslim, I'm a North Indian, you're a South Indian, something like that. Self as an object and as an subject. So self is described as a subject and as an object. Self is described as a subject, as a doer. It refers to the self actively engaging in the process of knowing itself. Whereas as an object, it is someone who gets affected. It refers to the consequences which are being done or being further moved by the doer. The self gets observed and comes to be known. So this is showing the dual status of self. Kinds of self. Self is formed as a result of our interactions with our physical and social cultural environments. Types. There are two types of self which are mainly brought under limelight, which is personal self and social self. Personal self leads to the orientation in which one feels primarily concerned with oneself, whereas in social self it emerges with relation with others and it emphasizes such as aspects of life as cooperation, unity, affiliation, sacrifice, support, or sharing. Personal self example, you can give a biological self. For example, a newborn child, when it feels hungry, it starts crying. It gives the reflex out. The reflex is crying. So the next time it gets the awareness that I am hungry, so I can react in an appropriate way. So this is personal self. To deal with social self, you can say a familial and or a social relationship, it, which can be even known as a familial or an relational self. Next, cognitive and behavioral aspect of self, where we will be dealing with few concepts of self. First one, self concept. Self-concept is the way we perceive ourselves and the idea we hold about our competencies and our attributes. For example, a person may have a very positive view of her or his athletic bravery, and others, and the same person may feel so low in academics. So this is self-concept. Self-esteem. Self-esteem is like the value of judgment of a person about himself or herself. I am good at homework. I am highly liked by my peers. Self efficacy is a person who believes that she or he has the ability or behavior required by a particular situation. Yeah. For example, like he may be so he may have a strong sense of efficacy when he's so brave, and then he starts to change himself at once. Self-regulation. Self-regulation is the ability to organize and monitor our own behavior. For example, when people do the vratas and the rosas, where they want to like give away the attachment with the worldly things. Self-control is learning to delay or defer gratification of needs. So this is, yeah. So I've missed two here. One is self-instruction and self-reinforcement. It is where like we instruct ourselves to do something and behave the way we want to. Whereas self-reinforcement is like involving rewarding people with pleasant outcomes. So that is like something like motivation. Culture and self. Culture and self. When we are talking about culture and self, we will be viewing two views, Western view and the Indian view. The Western view is like boundary, which is where people draw boundaries between the self and the others, and this boundary is relatively fixed. It actually holds dichotomies between self and the others. What is dichotomies? Dichotomies is like the separation that exists between two groups that are completely opposite and different from each other. And the self and the group exist as two different entities with clearly defined boundaries. That is, they are remaining at a distance. So, this is why the scientists name them as the individualistic or the individualistic view. Next, to talk about Indian view, which is absolutely opposite to Western view, which has no boundaries between the self and the others. There are no clear dichotomies, and self is generally not separated from one's own group. There is harmonious and coexistence present. Like Asian cultures are mostly collectivistic. Indian view and Asian, yeah. So it is mostly collectivistic. Concept of personality. The word personality is derived from the Latin word persona, which means the mask worn by the people doing dramas in Rome as facial makeup. Personality is the characteristic in which we respond to something, someone, or any situation. It is unique and is a stable quality that categorizes behavior in different situations at different times. Example, many people are shy, quiet, possessive, bossy, everything. Major approaches to the study of personality, where we will be dealing with three types of approaches. They are the trait approach, the type approach, and the type approach. The first one is the type approach. This approach attempts to divide people into groups by examining based on their broad patterns in behaviors observed. So each type refers to a group who have similarity of their behaviors. Okay. So next one is the type approach. Next one is the trait approach, where people focus on psychological attributes along which individuals tend to differ in consistent and stable ways. Interactional approach is like situational that holds situation characteristics playing an important role in determining our behavior. Okay, so this is interaction. No, so let me explain in detail. Type approach basically is a pattern referring to a group who have similarity of their behavioral characteristics. Trait approach is based on specific psychological characteristics. Interactional approach holds the situational characteristics which play an important role in determining our behavior. People may have behave dependent or independent. It's just not because of their personality trait, because of their external rewards, threats, and particular situations. What is a trait? Trait is a stable and a stable, persistent, and specific way of behaving. To go with the next type approach, so we will learn something more about type approach. So, type approach, there were many scientists who actually tried categorizing type approach. And and then the first scientist or the physician was Greek physician Hippocrates. He proposed a typology on the basis of fluids and behavior, and he categorized them into four main branches, which is sanguine, phlegmatic, melancholic, and choleric. Sorry if my pronunciations are not good. Charak Samhita, who was the second scientist who clarified type approach or who approached the type approach, was Charak Samhita. He was an Indian who was very famous for his works in Ayurveda and all those. And he categorized it on the basis of the humoral elements called the Tridosha. He categorized it on the basis of Vata, Pitta, and Kapha. And he even categorized it even on the basis of the typology, like the Sattva Guna, Rajasguna, and the Tamas Guna. So Sattva Guna are like the people who are very clean and then they are truthful. They are, like they are dutiful. They have the detachment and discipline, which was matching the characteristics or the personality of a Brahmin. So many people type Sattva Guna under the Brahmin category. Next is Rajas Guna, which where people had the desire for sense, gratification, dissatisfaction, envy for others, and then the materialistic mentality. So this was mostly known for all the Kshatriyas and then the kings of the warriors or whatever. Next was the Tamas Gunas, which was mostly famous for anger, laziness, feeling of helplessness, depression, arrogance, etc., which was mostly known in the for the like the normal citizens who were in the countries on the king's place. So he basically admired the typology on the basis of a kingdom. Next was Sheldon. So Sheldon actually he was very well known. He used a bodybuilding and temperament as classifying people. So the first one was endomorphic. I mean, there are three which are endomorphic, mesomorphic, and ectomorphic typologies. So where endomorphic are like, as you can see, people are fat, soft, round, relaxed, and sociable. So the first one, fat, soft, round, is the body build, and relaxed, sociable is the temperament. Next is mesomorphic, where people have strong body build. The musculature, which they have strong muscles. They are energetic and courageous. Body build, yeah, the strong body build is the body build, and then energetic and courageous is the temperament. Next is the ectomorphic, where they are thin, long, and fragile, which is the body build, and brainly, intelligent, artistic, and introverts are all a part of temperament. I missed a point where endomorphic are people who are extroverts. These two are opposite. Endomorphic and extromorphic are opposites. Next was Jung. He proposed it again on the typology of introverts and extroverts. Uh-huh. So introverts are people who are like who stay within themselves. It is where you can compare the introverts and extroverts to the Western, the Western view and then the Indian view, where introverts are like exactly like the people with the introverts, where they are only happy, or like they can freely or happily spend the time with only a one or two people, but not in a large crowd. They may not be feel comfortable because they may have some other inner thoughts and ideas. These people, introverts, are like mostly feeling comfortable focusing on themselves than on the others. Next one is extroverts, which is exactly the opposite. People are very friendly and then they talk to everyone. And then they love parties, talking on phones, meeting new people. And you know what? All these extroverts are people who, they go for all those socially outgoing fields, like maybe a lawyer or a psychologist, where they can completely open themselves to everyone. Hmm. Yeah, extroverts. What happened? Yeah. So next one, we will be talking about the Friedman and Roseman. So they like type, I mean, like they type, I mean, they categorized people into type A and type B, where type A is like high motivation, no patience. They always feel like, I feel short of time, and then they always feel they are burdened with work and all. So these are categories or the personalities which come under type A. They might develop CHD, which is coronary heart disease, and hypertension, which is basically a heart problem in the future. And then we have type B, where it's like lack of motivation, and then it's just the opposite of type A. They feel they have a lot of time and they are so relaxed doing anything. They don't even have the feeling of burdened work. After Friedman and Rosenman, Morris even came up with type C and type D, where he told that type C is of people who are cooperative, unassertive, and patient. Like they are prone to cancer. Type D is where uncooperative, assertive, and impatient. They are prone to depression. It's a spelling mistake, please. Yeah. Yeah. So thank you. And then maybe I will be continuing the trait approach I will be dealing with in the next video. Thank you. Have a nice day.